It's the 2K Sports pregame show.
Hey, Ernie Johnson here, and I'm joined by Kenny the Jet Smith and Shaquille O'Neal. Welcome to the NBA on 2K Sports. In this game, we'll see the Charlotte Hornets going up against the Lakers in Los Angeles. Taking a look at the Lakers, they're not going in the direction they'd like to be going at this point of the season. They've started to fade, maybe some fatigue setting in now as the schedule becomes a little more strenuous. Well, you talk about a player who needed a few years to adjust to the NBA. Kemba Walker has gone from solid to great in short order. He's really taken his team to the next level as well.
Yeah, he's improved his shot at every distance. His ball handling is wizardry and wizardry.
Wizardry?
It was wizardry.
How the heck you spell wizardry?
Well, it's kind of like wizardry with the saying it correctly.
With a G in it.
Yeah, but his scoring efficiency has really probably been his biggest asset.
Not only that, he plays to his strengths on the offensive side of the ball. And Kenny, I hate to disrespect you, I think he's the best guard coming out of New York. Hope you're not mad at me.
Well, Tiny Archibald would be. Or Lenny Wilkins would be.
Who they play for?
Oh, they would.
No, they were Hall of
New
Famers.
York.
Oh, I never knew that.
All right. Kevin Harlan, take it away.
But I'll give it to Kevin.
We'll be bringing you an interconference matchup in this one as the Hornets come into town. And as we start the weekend here on this Friday night, 2K Sports welcoming you to NBA basketball. Hi, this is Kevin Harlan alongside Clark Kellogg, Greg Anthony, our Hall of Fame sideline reporter David Aldridge. And a special treat here tonight. Joining us courtside is five-time NBA champion Kobe Bryant. Kobe, great to see you. Thanks for joining us.
I appreciate it, man. It's always a pleasure to stop by and help out.
We're going to have a lot of fun tonight.
I'm sure.
Some confidence for Charlotte with the win in their last matchup against the Los Angeles Lakers.
And once they established that flow offensively, really never got any resistance from the D.
And, you know, Greg, they were sinking shots left and right, and that's got to be demoralizing for the defense. They were in a real zone.
And David Aldridge is standing by for our pregame report. David, good evening.
Well, guys, Luke Walton played 10 seasons in the NBA, but it wasn't until near the end in 2011 that he started to consider coaching. Walton says, "I never thought about it until I hurt my back." Now, while he was out of action, Phil Jackson invited him to sit in on the coaches' meetings. Walton said, "I realized that I liked that side of the game." And Kevin, he succeeded Phil Jackson as head coach of the Lakers. Back to you.
It definitely did, David. He won titles when he played for the Lakers. Now he'll try to bring that winning mindset back to L.A. You know, Kobe, the league seems to be moving away from isolation basketball, sometimes called hero ball, in favor of more ball movement, more of a fluid offense. What do you make of that trend?
Well, I think it's the right thing. I mean, if you look at the way the Knicks played, for example, when they had Bill Bradley, Busher, Phil was coming off the bench.
Well, you are a historian. You love the history of the game, don't you?
Oh, my God.
I mean, I can just tell working with you.
Yeah. Holtzman was coaching. You had Frazier out there. I mean, they moved the ball. I mean, everything was predicated on ball movement, as was the Celtics with Fred Auerbach. And then in the 80s, things changed a little bit. You start going to more isolation ball, where guys would post deep and force a double coverage to come all the way down to them, and then you start moving the ball around. Now you start seeing a spread offense, where the ball's moving again like it was when the Knicks were playing, when the Celtics were playing. And so, you know, I think it just depends on the style of defense that you're seeing and the personnel that you have. I think that determines your style of play.
So let's take a look at the Charlotte starting lineup. Inside, Williams at the 4, Howard in the middle. Jeremy Lamb out there with Kemba Walker. And it's Batum in at the 3 slot. Hey, Kobe, after dedicating pretty much your entire life to the game of basketball, a game that I know you love, you said you don't miss it. Why is that?
Well, because I've been through that process. I mean, I started playing a game when I was like 2 years old. And, you know, playing professionally for 20 years, and I left no stone unturned. So there's no regrets there. You know, I've done everything I could possibly do. And truthfully, the game is still with me. You know, the discipline has changed. The industry might have changed. But the same approach, the same things that I've learned from the game, I carry with me to this day. So the game is still inside of me.
Well executed, great rhythm. You've got to finish that one.
Agree with you there, partner, because that screen really freed him up nicely, and that's a shot that if you're a pro, you need to make that one.
And Kobe, something that has changed in the NBA over the course of your career is the role of the power forward, the four. More and more you need to be able to stretch the floor, take your guy outside, shoot the three. Do you feel that that's a trend, or is that something you think that is here to stay in the NBA?
Well, I think things will evolve and things will change. I mean, you start getting power forwards like Tim Duncan and Garnett back in the league, Dirk. All of a sudden, it becomes less and less of a commodity to have smaller fours.
Right.
Because you're going to need to deal with the Tim Duncans and the Garnetts of the world. So I think it's just a natural evolution thing.
Did you, when you had to guard a big like that, ever fear going out and trying to get him on the side or even working him inside the lane where he would have more power, more advantage?
No, I never worried about it too much. What I try to do is I always try to study the film and figure out what their tendencies are, what their sweet spots are, and you just try to get them off of that. It's not necessarily about the size of them, but how do you get yourself in position where you can knock them off balance a little bit and use the lack of size that you have to disorient them.
Here's Walker after the basket by Los Angeles. Screen by Howard. On the wing, Lamb. He tries for three. That one, no good. And the Lakers will go the other way with it. They want to keep rolling here following the win against the Thunder.
Yeah, and in that game, we saw a lot of sloppy play from the opposing offense. They coughed the ball up, a lot of unforced turnovers.
And that did make things relatively easy for them. It's nice to get a win and not have to work too hard for it.
Guys, they're looking for a way to score here.
Yeah, they've had a tough time taking the lid off.
And the trend around the league, Kobe, is more offense, more three-pointers, certainly spacing, fluid offense. Scoring is up around the league in a measurable way from, it seems like, year to year. Do you like the way this is trending, or do you think the NBA should maybe put a governor on this, harness it in just a little bit?
Well, I don't think it'll swing back to the way,
Do you?
Yeah, because the game has gone through that progression before. And, it's constantly evolving. And so I think you'll see it swing back eventually. You'll have a couple teams that are just big and may have a dominant post player, and all of a sudden you're going inside, and then that team will win a championship, and then the rest of the teams in the league will try to copycat the way the game is played that way. Then things will swing back. So it's just natural evolution of the game, I think.
Shooting two.
That's good from Barnes. You look back to the final game as a player, Kobe, all the emotion that was building up for that moment. Then you go out and score 60 points. Surreal moment. Did you ever think for any moment that maybe I've got 1 year left in the tank after that 60-point performance?
You know what? It wasn't a matter if I had another year in the tank. It was just, I just don't want to do this anymore. I wake up in the morning, my body's sore. That 60-point game was everything I had left for that year. And to be able to have to reboot that and reset the system all over again, no thank you.
People don't see that side of it, do they?
No, they don't. But it's just, nor do we want them to, right? We want them to appreciate being entertained and coming to a game and taking their mind off of whatever it is they want to take their mind off of. It's an opportunity for them to escape. And that's what we provide. So that's completely fine.
Now, here's Walker. A 26-point game for him in the win against the Kings in Sacramento.
And then there was his passing. When he wasn't scoring on his own, he was making plays for his teammates, and they just couldn't figure out how to defend him.
So last season, Kobe, one of the closest MVP races we've had in a long time, came down to Westbrook and Harden. Who did you think was going to win before the results came out, and why?
Yeah, I didn't even stop to think about that because they're both like little brothers to me. So even though I could sit there and say,
LA
okay,
kids too.
Yeah, I know them both extremely well, and they're both extremely deserving of it. So I refuse to split it.
Yeah.
They're both my guys.
And different kinds of games, and both sensational individual players.
Yeah, they're just phenomenal. I mean, they can do so many things in the game. And now I think the next progression for them is to be able to dominate the game off the ball just as much as they can dominate on the ball, right? Because in the playoffs, the defense has a hard time finding them.
Now, here's Caldwell Pope. No scoring yet from him, but that's likely to change. Passes it to Zubac. Down to 5 on the shot clock. Puts up a 3. And Contavious Caldwell Pope with a 3. And to have the ball in your hands at all times, always bringing it up. It's exhausting, though, right? That's what they say.
But
now,
for you, the defense sees you, right?
Yeah.
So if you're handling the ball, the defense has eyes on you at all times. You're here. You're right in front of the defense. When you don't have the ball, you're moving behind them. Curry moves behind.
All the time.
He'll bring it up, pass it, and now he's running off the screens behind the defense, right? And it's hard to find him.
Rip Hamilton the same way.
Rip Hamilton the same way.
I know.
Jordan, flare picks, down screens, slicing into the post, right? Coming up to the pinch post. All those operational things take place behind the view of the defense.
Here's Ball. Following the basket by Dwight Howard. Another miss by Caldwell Pope. Kobe, you're a father. You've enjoyed that process, but basketball got in the way a lot of it. How do you balance fatherhood and playing at the level you played at?
Yeah, when I was winning championships there, our kids were still relatively young, or I should say babies. In my last few years, they were older and knew they could really feel my absence. And so what I try to do is try to bring them along for the process. So there were mornings I would wake them up and say, let's go. So we're going. Well, Daddy's going to go train, so let's go.
No kidding.
And I bring them with me. And they'd be in the gym shooting around or kicking a soccer ball around or hitting a volleyball around. But I felt like it was important as a father to not just tell them about hard work, but they need to see what I'm doing. When you're sleeping, this is what I'm doing here for 3 hours. And so they're a part of the process and feel connected to the process. But traveling and things of that nature is very, very hard because there's been plenty of birthdays that I've missed and school plays that I've missed.
Lakers have gone 5 of 12 from the field since the opening tip. Pass to Kuzma, tries a three, drills the three-pointer. Kuzma's got 8 points.
And when Ball has the ball, it's in good hands. He can run the offense, no doubt.
Traveling was a part of your job, a part of mine. You missed some things with the kids, but I know you take pride, Kobe, in the fact that you made it to a lot of things as well. You were not an absent parent.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's having a great partner. I mean, my wife has been absolutely amazing, which I think is extremely important as well, because she really held down the fort at home, which to me is the toughest job in the world to do. I have it easy in terms of going out there and playing games, but to have the responsibility of actually raising young people to be outstanding citizens. You talk about pressure. I mean, that's I have to ask her how she feels about handling that. You know what I mean? Because that's true pressure.
Now here's Lamb. Dwight Howard missing his last shot. And so he earns a trip to the line. Officials saw the contact and he'll shoot 2. And with all the different technological advances in the league, you see a lot of player and coaches now reviewing clips and tablets and a lot of film sessions. I know you used to study a lot of the league's videotapes. How much easier is film study now, say, from the time in the late 90s when you got in the NBA?
It's so much easier.
Really?
Oh, my God. When I used to get in the hotel rooms, you used to have to call the front desk. And they used to roll up the TV on the wheels.
With the VCR machine.
With the VCR connected to it, right? And I have to have all of these tapes. And you got to put the tape in and you got to rewind it. And you got to fast forward it, rewind it.
Yeah.
Now it's just everything's right there in front of you, right? And it's very easy to skip and go to the next game and then jump back to the game before or fast forward to the fourth quarter. I mean, it's so easy now.
And the Hornets making a change here. Cody Zeller's checked in for Howard. Frank Kaminsky comes in for Marvin Williams. Michael Kidd-Gilchrist is checked in for Nicholas Batum. And Monks subbed in for Lamb. And so Walker nails both of them.
Well, I tell you what, like how cool and collected he was getting the job done at the line in this one.
Walker against Clarkson. Kicks it to Barnes. Screen by Bogut. Barnes against Kidd-Gilchrist. The Lakers need to get a shot off here. The shot by Clarkson, no good. The Hornets trail. Only for a guy like yourself who made an incredible amount of three-point shots during your career, what is it like watching Steph Curry? Just how much has he changed the league? It was always watching the dunks of Jordan. Now we got kids that want to shoot the ball from distance.
Yeah. Shooting the ball from distance now has kind of become like the home run in baseball, right? Where it's exciting to watch the ball in flight. I think it's great because it just adds more love to the game, more things that players could do that, or kids can do that can't dunk. Right? It's like dunking was the thing, right? But now the kids that can't dunk, there's something else that's fun. There's something else that's entertaining, like shooting threes.
So boy, that takes a lot of work.
Yeah, it sure does. I mean, it's a lot of
hundreds of shots daily.
Yeah, it's a lot of repetition. I mean, Steph, you watch him out there playing and making all these shots. He's put in hours and hours and hours of hard work and continues to do so.
With that three-point shooting on the rise, Kobe, if you were coming into the league right now, would you try to lean more in that direction than the incredible acrobat that you were when you were in your prime?
It depends who I was playing against. I try to build my game to be able to do all those things.
And you could. I mean, you're like one of the few guys that could do all that.
Yeah, so it just depends on who I was matching up against, which determines then how I would try to punish the defense.
I like that word.
Yeah. I was trying to think of a softer one. And I was like, no, punish is a good one.
You're honest. That's good from Barnes. And Kobe, your spectacular high school career at Lower Merion High School in Philadelphia, in that Philadelphia area, paved the way for your NBA career. Talk about some of the highlights of your days in high school.
Well, my days in high school were fun. I mean, I played at a small high school called Lower Merion High School, so not too many people heard of it. You know, when you come to Philadelphia, the schools that you hear of are Overbrook, where Wilt Chamberlain went to school, Bartram, right, where Earl the Pearl Monroe went to school, right? But you never heard of little old Lower Merion High School, right? So it was a huge honor to be able to bring a state championship to Lower Merion and kind of put Lower Merion on the map. And that's the most exciting part about it.
Oh, a terrific story indeed. A huge honor, I'm sure. Now here's Kaminsky. Coming in off a 12-point game, his last outing. Here's Walker. And that one comes up a bit short.
Boy, he's having a tough time right now. Seems like he's forcing his shot a bit to me, Kevin, not letting it come in the flow of the game.
And stolen by Zeller. Walker against Clarkson. Here's Walker. 5 points in the game. Zeller, a screen on Bogut. Shot clock at 5. And the basket by Kaminsky. Kaminsky's got 5. And Kobe, you've had so many fans from high school that carried over to your NBA days. In the stands now, in fact, you'll see fans with Lower Merion High School jerseys on.
How cool is that?
That's amazing.
How cool is that? You know, to actually be able to see a bunch of Aces jerseys in the crowd when literally nobody knew where Lower Merion was. There's actually a school called Upper Merion. So everybody used to confuse the two. Just say, hey, yeah, I saw you when you played at Upper Merion. Say, hold on, dude. No, Lower Merion, man. Get it right. Don't forget it, Lower Merion.
And good passing, setting up a lot of these buckets right now, Kevin. That's been the key.
Dime-dropping delights is what I call it.
Yeah, that's a nice pass. I will give you that one.
Yeah, he's on the money, that's no doubt. He gets it in there. And Kobe, you look around the league and you see a lot of former players as head coaches, guys that you actually played against. Have you ever thought about coaching down the line?
Nope. No, I have not. Not for me. You know, it's for them, though, but it's not for me.
I would think that it would be tough to try to get the same result out of players you coach and not comparing it to the way you play, the way you prepare, the way you were coached.
That's what I hear. I just don't have the desire to even think about it that far. I mean, it's not something that I'm into. But that's the challenges I hear. You know, when Bird was coaching, when Magic was coaching, I always hear that as being the challenge. But ultimately, you know, you have to find different ways to motivate players. And, you know, nobody's the same, right? So you just have to figure out how to get them to their highest level. But still in all, coaching is just not for me.
And that one falls for Zeller. And here's Clarkson. 14 points from him the last game against Oklahoma City. Screen by Bogut. Clarkson passes to Barnes. He dishes it to Nance. Barnes kicks to Clarkson, and it's going to be a 3-second call. And here we can now take a look at how the ratio was between the 3s and the 2s last season for the Hornets.
And the three-pointer was their preferred weapon. It can be a risky strategy, but it's one that more and more teams have embraced over the years.
Charlotte leading by 5. In competition, once again, Kobe, the thing that drives you so much, even on the practice floor, you and Jordan were so much alike in that regard. Is it important to go at your teammates and challenge them in those practices that you recall?
You have to challenge them, because if you don't, then they become conditioned to not have those challenges every day, right? So if you come off of a night, you have a back-to-back, for example, and you have a practice the next morning, it's our responsibility to step into that practice and challenge them as if it was the game that we just played the night before. Right? Because if you do not, and you don't have that competitive spirit day in and day out, where then you feel like you can take games off, because you can take practices off because you just don't have it in practice. right? So it's our job to bring that every single day so that competing just becomes a habit for them.
And you learn about their mental endurance, their physical endurance during those practices.
Well, yeah, well, you challenge them to learn about themselves, right? You challenge them to think about themselves. Can I push a little extra? I'm going to have to because he's driving me like crazy. And if I don't meet that challenge, I'm going to have to hear his mouth all practice long. I'm going to have to hear his mouth on the plane. I'm going to have to hear his mouth on the bus. I'm going to have to hear his mouth in the locker room.
Yeah.
And I'd rather just compete.
Now, here's Walker. Harrison Barnes missing his last shot. Yep, that one goes. Monk's got his second basket of the night.
And their offense already in a flow. Some stellar shooting to jump out to this league.
Quality looks they're getting, and they're capitalizing on them, guys. They have to be happy with this start offensively.
Yeah, I love the communication and the chemistry between those teammates.
Charlotte leading by 6. 5 seconds separating the shot and game clocks. Here's Walker, and he gets it to go. Walker's got 7.
If you're going in amongst the trees, you have got to be aggressive.
Boy, like his intensity, Greg. He's not afraid to take it straight to the rack on the bigger defender. Right at it.
Now Clarkson shoots over Walker. An amazing shot, just barely beat the buzzer.
That is as big a shot as you are ever going to see.
And guys, he wanted it. He desperately was begging for that ball and was dying to take that shot.
And so it's Charlotte with a 6-point lead at the end of the quarter. They're feeling very confident, shooting the ball with great efficiency and dictating the pace. And we've got more NBA action on 2K Sports coming your way after this break. And before the game, we heard from Kemba Walker. He talked about his mentality when he steps out onto the floor.
Play free. Just play like you're playing street ball. Just have fun. Just play the game that you've been playing, forever.
Infectious enthusiasm. You see it every time he steps on the floor. And the first quarter is in the books. Second about ready to get underway. Looking at what we've seen from the Hornets, what do you think?
Getting high percentage looks, wearing down that defense on the inside.
Grinding away down low, man. Just filing them down. Love the bully ball method. Paying off well.
They've got Curry. They'll get out there with Nance. Then there's Jordan Clarkson, and it's Barea in at the point guard. That's the group for the Lakers to start the second quarter.
Shooting one. Tell you what, Walker is an exceptional scorer. I mean, a clever guard who wreaks havoc with his quickness and ball skills.
Talk, Kobe, about some of the great one-on-one scores. You might be the best ever, actually. But when you take a look at the crop now, who are some good guys in that one-on-one category that you like?
Kyrie's sensational. Yeah,
great handle. How about his handle? Like one of the best ever, man.
Yeah, but he can post too, though. That's the thing is he can post up. He can turn left shoulder. He can turn right shoulder. He can shoot a left-hand jump hook coming across the middle. He can pull up going left. He can pull up going right. He can attack off the handle. He can attack off a triple threat. He's built the game without any weaknesses. I think most players, should be thankful that he's not 6'6".
You're right, because he'd be Kobe Bryant then. You're right, he'd be Kobe Bryant. But I always thought that, and his dad played big-time college basketball, played in Australia. Your dad played. There is something inherent, regardless of how much, that comes from the son of a pro player.
Growing up overseas as well.
Exactly, in Australia.
Growing up overseas as well. And look at his game being so fundamentally sound and having the basic structure. There's a lot to be said for that.
Absolutely. And we've got an update here, so let's catch up with David Aldridge.
Hey, guys, something special is brewing in Charlotte. Point guard Kemba Walker said, "It's a great start. We know how to play with each other, and we love playing with each other. The best thing is how hard we all work. We're going to grow." Kevin?
And that kind of optimism is terrific, David. Thank you. Walker and the Charlotte Crews seem to be a perfect match. Here's Clarkson. Michael Kidd-Gilchrist making his last shot. Off the screen. The shot by Clarkson, no good. Hornets leading by 10. Hey, Kobe, in recent years, we've seen a lot of players choosing in free agency to join forces, join friends, other talented players. Think of Durant and Golden State, the big three with LeBron going down to Miami. What are your thoughts on that trend?
Well, everybody's got to do what they feel is best for them. Personally, it wasn't really my cup of tea. I'd much rather compete against those guys and do it that way. If winning in LA wasn't going to happen, then it just wasn't going to happen. I wasn't going to leave and go someplace else and join forces to try to win a championship.
How about recruiting players, like say, hey, come to the Lakers and you and I can do something special here?
Yeah, listen, that's fine. That happens. Right? Players talk to each other, we want to play with each other. But it never crossed my mind to try to recruit another top player that I'm competing against.
Interesting.
Never. I've always wanted to compete against them. So that's a little strange to me.
And you think, Kobe, of these super teams, it's like they need backup. Like a buddy, like walking down the hall in high school with the bigger guy, right? I don't sense you ever...
No, but it's like, growing up, I watched Magic and Michael go at it. Yeah. I watched Magic and Bird go at it. I don't want to see them play together. Yeah. Personally, I don't want to see that. Right. Like, what would my childhood be if Magic and Bird played on the same team? What would we be watching?
Magic's Lakers, Jordan's Bulls, Bird's Celtics.
Yeah. It's
not
even
so and so, so and so, and so and so.
Yeah, if you ask Larry, you ask Magic, you ask Michael, they'd much rather compete against each other, right? Because you bring out the best in each other. They would have won every single championship from now until the day they retire if they played together, right? But that's not the point. Yeah. The point is the competition.
And your team.
Yes.
Kuzma can't get it to go. Hornets leading by 12. And in the history of the NBA, only a handful of players have lasted 20 seasons. Kobe, you played all 20 with the Los Angeles Lakers, an NBA record for seasons with one team. What does it mean to just having worn that Laker jersey your entire career?
Well, it's a huge honor. I've always been a massive Laker fan, even when I was a kid. And so I never dreamed that I'd actually be wearing the golden armor for my NBA career. So to be sitting here right now, having played 20 years, is literally the coolest dream that could have ever happened to any kid, happened to me.
And I don't know that it'll happen again. The way the league is structured now, money, the free agency, even though you had a chance to leave a couple times, you always chose to stay.
Well, yeah, it's loyalty is a word that you hear thrown around often. But in this day and age, it's very tough to see in sports because of the cap, because of the free agency market and so forth and so on. So I've been very, very fortunate to have a great organization and to be able to have played 20 years of my career here.
Kobe, you've made no bones about patterning your game after Michael Jordan. You watched him while growing up. Can you give us a little insight into the impacts of what he meant to you and how he formed you in some ways?
Sure. Well, I think most players growing up, at least my generation, probably watched him play and saw all of the fancy plays, the dunks, the highlights, and things of that nature. What I focused on was how you got there. The moves, the timing, the fundamentals, the spacing, the rhythm. That's what I studied meticulously. And so when I watched him play, I think I watched him play a little differently than others. Having not gone to college and all these other things, growing up overseas, I had to learn the fundamentals by watching and observing the greats, and to the most minute detail.
Now here's Ennis after Jeremy Lamb's miss, and with that, the Hornet lead is cut to just 5 on the basket from Ennis. Well, Kobe, it seems like the NBA is becoming less a position-based and more of a skill, position-less game. Perimeter skill now seems to be at a premium. Do you agree with that? Do you like that? Would you change that?
Well, I think players need to be able to play all positions on the floor, right? If you look at the teams that win championships, they generally have every player that's on the floor can make a decision. Every player can dribble, every player can pass, every player can shoot, right? There's a reason why San Antonio's always finding themselves there in the end. The reason why the Cavs are finding themselves there in the end. There's a reason why Golden State's because they have playmakers at every position on the floor.
They have basketball players.
They have basketball players, right? Not specialists. They have basketball players.
Now Lamb, after the missed 3 from Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Outside Williams, here's the 3. Up again, controls the rebound and puts it back up and in. And now a 9-point Hornets lead.
Howard really brings it on the offensive glass, using that wide wingspan to come up with those loose balls.
Kuzma passes to Ennis. Batum grabs the miss.
Man, right play, wrong result on that one. Generally, you knock those down.
Not much else you can do there. That's what you want. Too bad they weren't able to finish it off.
Kobe, a big part of the talent evaluation today is the psychological impact in that aspect, which I think will lead teams toward one prospect over another. If you were looking for personality traits in players and you were making that decision for a team, what trait would you value the most in a player?
No, curiosity. Without a shadow of a doubt, it's curiosity.
Why so?
Because curious people will always ask why things work or don't work.
And you were a big why asker.
You have to, because that's the only reason you win, is when you can figure out why things happen or didn't happen. Right? If you lose a game, a curious person won't point the finger. A curious person will say, well, why did we lose? Instead of just saying them. Right. They're going to go back and check the film and ask questions. Okay, why did we mess up there? Why did we blow that coverage there?
Ball with a wide open look. Off target from outside.
Boy, awful defending, really. But in the end, they dodged a bullet. They can't let shooters get clean looks from outside, though.
Back to Howard. Here's Williams. Goes up and lays it nice and easy. And the Hornets lead by 11.
And there's a pattern starting to take shape here. They're working it inside and getting good shots from close range.
Well, I agree with you. 4 of their last 5 baskets have been exactly of that variety.
That's not the type of opportunity he fails to convert very often.
And Kobe, you played for a handful of coaches during your career. When you look back on it, was there one coach you wished you could have played for but didn't have maybe a chance to play for?
Greg Popovich. That's an easy one for me. Although I did play for him in several All-Star games.
Yes, you did.
And one particular All-Star game in practice, he came up to me and said, okay, do you want me to just kind of go through like a whatever practice, or do you want me to do the real thing? I said, Pop, you got to do the real thing, because I've been dying to see what really goes on inside these Spurs practices.
Oh,
so you
my
gotta,
gosh.
You got to give us a real practice, man.
Yeah.
And he did. And Tim just kind of looked at me and was like, dude, seriously?
What are you doing here?
Come on, you're killing me.
So what was a Popovich practice like for you, and how did you try to set the tone?
It was high energy, and we moved from drill to drill. And it involved a lot of passing and moving and spacing. And so all of the shooting, it wasn't any individual shooting. You know, all the individual shooting took place within a 5-man offensive structure, a ball movement, of passing and cutting, and all of a sudden the shot comes here in the corner, and then you slide up to the next line, and you dribble, penetrate, and kick it, and then you slide to the next line, dribble, penetrate, kick, right? So it involves constant movement where you're constantly training and conditioning the body that you're not just going to pass and stand and be a participant, right? You're going to be involved into that, in the action, not going to be a passive participant.
You know, Kobe, you played 20 years in the NBA. Sports medicine and training becoming increasingly important for extending careers, keeping guys on the floor. How far has that science come in the time from you when you entered the league until the time that you retired last year?
Well, it helped me play 20 years.
Yeah, right.
You know?
But different methods all the way, huh?
Different methods all the way. I mean, it's when I first came in the league and understanding what sports medicine was at the time, and the research on recovery, and as the years went on, more science and research started coming out on the benefits of contrast therapy, of ice baths, and surgical procedures. Like, if I would have ruptured my Achilles years ago, I never would have come back from that. Now, my Achilles, even as I sit here today, it's like I never hurt it.
No kidding.
It's amazing.
Two shots. Relax on the first.
And that one misses. And Kobe, in your opinion, what's been the common thread for all these advances in sports medicine?
I think it's the minds. It's the minds of people in medicine that are constantly pushing the industry forward. And, it's our responsibility and the team's responsibility to find these great minds and turn them loose, right? And trust them with the process, trust them with your athlete. But the key is you have to find the right ones.
And he sinks the second.
And the former first overall pick in the 04 draft, Howard has had a stellar career, a dominant force who continues to frustrate the opposition.
Now, here's Ball. He picked up 18 points in their last win against Oklahoma City.
And then there was his passing. When he wasn't scoring on his own, he was making plays for his teammates. They just couldn't figure out how to defend him.
Here's Kuzma. A 14-point game for him in the win against Oklahoma City. Well, Kobe, more and more front offices around the NBA embracing analytics. At the same time, a lot of veteran executives who have kind of the old-time group have been somewhat critical of that approach. Which side do you take on that?
Well, I mean, I think there's use for analytics. You know, what they do is they tell you what's happening or what's happened. But you still need the keen eye to be able to understand why they happen. And that's what numbers can't tell you.
Put some meaning in back of the numbers.
Exactly,
Yeah.
right? It's tough to understand if you see a player shooting this percentage. You know, there's the first 5 games of the season, he shot X. The last 3 games, he shot Y. And you don't understand why. The numbers will tell you that. But maybe he had something going on at home that was bothering him emotionally.
Yes.
Right? And therefore, his focus was elsewhere. And so his shooting percentage went down. Right? The numbers don't show you that. It doesn't show you the emotion of a player.
Larry Nance has checked in for the Lakers. Cody Zeller's checked in for the Hornets. Monk comes in for Nicholas Batum. No good on the second free throw.
You know, you look at Ball's size and speed and confidence, very impressive. An exciting prospect who I think has an all-star future.
And he nails the third.
That's a great job getting to the line here. You know, he didn't have a single attempt in that first quarter because I thought he was tentative. Much more aggressive here in the second.
And you look at the NBA today and the social media, Kobe, a lot easier for NBA players to connect with fans over that social media platform. However, it's also easier to get people in trouble. Players have got to keep that periscope up, so to say. How hard do you think that is to manage?
Well, you know, I think now in this particular generation, the sensitivity towards things you may hear or see on social media is much different than it would have been years ago. In other words, nowadays for athletes to be on social media, it's more easily tolerable for them to say something, right? Or to be able to speak their mind.
Yes.
And I think the important thing is just the consistency in that. You know, if you have a thought and you want to say it. Right? Put it out on social media. Do whatever it is that you want to do with it. The key is just to be consistent and be who you are, not be afraid to be who you are.
Now here's Kid Gilchrist. Larry Nance unable to get his shot to go. Kid Gilchrist with it. Guarded now by Barnes. Howard setting the pick for Monk. And a wide open look for Lamb. Good on the three-point shot. Lamb's got 11 points. Some say, Kobe, that the shooting guard crop in the NBA right now, a little light in terms of depth, not quite as many top 2 guards as we used to see play the game. Who do you like among some of the 2 guards you see now in the NBA?
Well, it depends who we're considering the 2 guard.
Right,
now,
because they just blend,
2s,
don't they?
3s, they all just blend.
Combo guards are playing some forward position. It's tough, isn't it?
Yeah. So, you know, shooting guards to me are guards that have to do everything. You have to be able to play the post. You have to be able to play the perimeter. You have to be able to play the point. You have to do everything. So I'll put Russell Westbrook in that category. I'll put James Harden in that category. I'll put Kawhi Leonard in that category. My God, there's a lot of players I'm forgetting. Even Giannis, I would say, is 2 guard because of what he does.
Yes.
So there's a lot of talented guards out there.
Did you like the ball in your hand, bringing it up, or would you have rather someone else bring up, then get it to you in the half court, and then do what you did?
Yeah, that's the one thing I'm jealous about Michael. Because Michael didn't have to do that. He had Pippen.
Well, yes, right. Who always brought it up.
Yeah,
yes,
so he could focus on coming off the screens and catching and shooting. He didn't have to think about facilitating first. He could think about scoring and then passing out of double teams.
And just not able to find the target from three-point range here in the second quarter, although he did knock down one in the first. And comfortably squaring up from the mid-range there. Nice touch by Bogut.
And we'd like to thank you for stopping by, Kobe. Hope you come back and join us again.
I definitely will. I had a great time, man. Thank you for having me.
And Clark, you've been broadcasting for the entire span of Kobe's playing career. How is it to share a booth with someone who you've watched progress throughout their entire career?
Well, it certainly reminds me that I'm moving into that last block on the demographic charts. I'm in the early third quarter, if you will, that's for sure. But it's a treat because it's wonderful to see how he grew as a player and as a man, and much respect for Kobe Bryant because he's a first ballot Hall of Famer and doing great things off the court, too.
And the Lakers making a change here. Berea's checked in. Kaminsky is checked in for Charlotte. Zeller, a screen on Nance. Now here's Lamb, covered by Nance. It's stolen by Nance. 5-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. Berea dishes to Barnes. That's tipped.
Seems like he's in a hurry. He's kind of rushing his shot. Clearly out of rhythm right now. That's a big reason why they're losing.
Lamb, good.
I'm sorry, that's poor defense down low again. It's been a mismatch thus far in the paint.
I'd agree with you, and I don't think they expected this one to be a game where they would get battered inside like they have.
The Lakers have gone 5 of 7 from the free throw line in the game.
Mind the lanes. Mind the lanes. One shot.
The free throw drops for Curry. Six seconds left to play here in the second quarter. Correa, no good.
No other way to say it. Flat out bad defense. Didn't even contest the shot. Lucky for them, he misfired on it.
And so it's Charlotte up by a dozen here at the end of the quarter. And their ability to get points in the paint has made all the difference in this one. And now let's catch up with David Aldridge, who's standing by from the sideline. All right, Dave.
Thanks a lot. Dwight, what did you guys do to get the lead?
We're just trying to play good defense. It's tough down there, but we're doing a good job of making them just shoot one shot and get out and run.
We'll see if we can keep that going in the second half. Thanks. Back to you, Kevin.
All right, Dave, thank you. And time now for the halftime break with the third quarter soon to follow right here on 2K Sports.
The 2K Sports Halftime Show.
We so hope you enjoyed our first half. Ernie Johnson, Shaquille O'Neal, Kenny the Jet Smith. This is the halftime report. We saw Kemba Walker lighting it up in the first half. He had 14 points and 4 assists. Shaq, your thoughts on the Hornets?
You got to like their offense efficiency. They were patient, took good shots. That was reflected in their high field goal percentage. They just need to keep playing smart in the second half and close this thing out. Don't get cute now.
And over to Kenny, your takeaway on the Lakers.
I felt they had a lack of intensity defensively. They gave up way too many threes. I mean, somebody needs to pull out the fire hose because this fire is out of control, and it certainly wasn't because of their defense.
And that will wrap up our halftime report, as it's just about time for the start of the second half.
Well, it's been a one-sided affair so far through the first two quarters, but there's plenty of time to mount a comeback. We've seen Kemba Walker really having a great game.
His points production thus far off the charts. It's only been 2 quarters. Just a great effort for him for the entire half.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter where he is on the floor either, Greg. He's making it look very easy. He's looking to score the ball.
Well, we're getting back to the action now. It's been a one-team show so far. We'll see if that changes here in the third. All fueled up and ready to go. Let's reset the lineups courtesy of Gatorade for the second half of basketball. On the floor for Charlotte. Inside, Williams at the 4, Howard in the middle. Kemba Walker is out there with Jeremy Lamb, and it's Batum in at the small forward spot. And just a year ago, it seemed that things were set in place for Howard, playing for his hometown team. But in a surprise trade, he was moved out to Charlotte.
And there seems to be a lot of reasons for the trade. I mean, Howard wasn't the right fit in Atlanta. A team trying to get smaller and younger. Never easy to get traded from your hometown team.
2 shots.
That's good from Howard. And Clark, just how important to a team is it to have a veteran presence on it? Like, how did the vets on the Pacers help you when you were a rookie or a young player in the league?
You know what? I think it's invaluable, Kevin. I was a 21-year-old rookie. I left after my junior year at Ohio State. And veteran players, Herb Williams, had been there a year or two. Guys like Billy Knight and George Johnson, Butch Carter were around. And having those guys talk about what it takes, and we were a very young team and had young veterans, but still they were invaluable in terms of giving you an example of how to go about your business to be successful as a pro.
And Caldwell Pope gets the basket.
And KCP's quickness makes him tough to track coming off those screens.
And Walker kicks to Howard. Back to Walker. Screen by Howard. 5 to shoot. Fires from the line. A tad short, but it's good off the front iron. Walker's got 16 points.
Oh, great awareness. No reason to take it inside there against the taller man.
Yeah, he knew he had him beat, Greg. I mean, that was clear. Took advantage of the space he had and then calmly and quietly drained it from the mid-range. That's good basketball.
They have been board dominant in this game. That's definitely been a factor in crafting this huge lead.
And it's been a well-rounded performance. I mean, strong rebounding has certainly been at the center of it, but it's been good on a number of levels.
And that one's good, Barnes.
Boy, the quick release of Barnes is really something to behold, Kevin. A knockdown mid-range shooter who strokes it with confidence.
Howard setting the pick for Lamb. Feeds it to Howard. That's good again. His 7th basket. 7 for 10 from the floor.
Yeah, that's the 3rd bucket in a row from the paint. This defense needs to clog those lanes in the middle.
There's a good screen. Kuzma passes to Barnes. Yep, it counts. Barnes has got 4 points in the quarter.
Their second half has started quite well. They've been good on 3 of their first 4 attempts.
Walker with it. Now guarded by Ball. Screen by Howard. Here's Lamb. And it's out of bounds. Last touch by Lamb. And before you now are the rookies on a roll. The hottest shooters in the last 10 games. Lonzo Ball is second. Not quite 2.5 minutes played here in the second half. Caldwell Pope outside. Now, here's Ball. He's been a reliable scorer for him as he's averaging up over 13 points a game. Charlotte leading by 14. And Walker kicks to Williams. That 3 off the mark.
Well, I think the defense got really lucky there. I mean, you can't afford to give up wide open shots from deep.
Caldwell Pope dishes the ball. Here's Kuzma. And the 3 off target. For Charlotte, they've gone 3 of 5 to start the second half, developing a nice rhythm out there. Steps back and fires. A tad short, but it's good off the front iron. And the Hornets lead by 16.
I tell you, he has some impressive moves in his repertoire. That's as good as it gets, but just one of many.
And the Lakers call time here. And as great as Nicholas Batum is, the one issue he's dealt with, Greg, his entire career is staying consistent during games.
And with his skill set, it is hard for Batum to be completely absent. He can play, though, too passively at times when you know what he's capable of. And he's at his best when he is active and aggressive.
Zubac's the pass to Barnes. With some arc. And a lot of contact on that one, so he'll shoot 2 here. And here's a look now at the shot chart showing the field goals attempted locations for Howard.
And every time he's pulled up from deep and let it fly, it's found a way to catch iron. Not sure if it is something with his release or the defense is bothering him on his threes, but I would expect him to attack the rim a bit just to kind of mix things up.
That's good from Barnes.
One of the things that every great player has to have is a tremendous work ethic, and Harrison Barnes has the reputation of being an outstanding worker. He wants to be special, and he's willing to put the time in to give it a chance to happen.
Barnes hits them both. And Clark, another thing with Barnes, he's very clear-sighted on the areas he needs to improve on.
Yeah, exactly, Kevin. I mean, at times he can be pretty hard on himself. That's part of how you get better. Irrational self-confidence, pretty common in this league. That's not HB, though. I mean, he's more cerebral, and his desire is what balances it all out for him.
Now here's Lamb. 15 points in the game. Ball with it. The dish to Caldwell Pope. Here's Ball. That one a little long. Charlotte leading by 14. Now here's Lamb. He's guarded closely. And a rejection by Zubats. And it turns out it's going to be a foul. He was hoping for a clean block, but the officials felt otherwise, so we'll see some free throws here. For Charlotte, they have shot 9 of 11 at the free throw line.
Shooting 2.
No good on the free throw. There are a lot of great young talents in the league right now, and when you take a look, Clark, at the young big men in the league, who stands out to you?
I like a lot of these young big guys because they're mobile, they can score the ball, they rebound it. Karl Anthony Towns is really, when you talk about a guy doing the 2010 thing this early in his career, that's special. Miles Turner, I think, has a chance to be really special with his shooting stroke and his shot blocking ability. And then Porzingis has a lot of Dirk Nowitzki qualities to him.
Ennis kicks to Zubats. Back to Ennis. Caldwell Pope outside. Now here's Ennis, covered by Lamb. Kuzma can't get it to go. Charlotte leading by 15. Outside, Batum. The pass to Lamb. Got a piece of it.
Ball size and timing really an asset when it comes to him blocking shots.
For Charlotte, they have shot 10 of 13 from the free throw line.
You've got to appreciate their ability to make free throws, 81% as a team.
One of the things they've done, guys, is taken pride in their free throw shooting this season, and rightfully so.
Take a break. Take a break. 2 shots.
Free throw drops for Lamb. For so long, the Hornets have been one of the most disciplined teams, Greg, in the NBA.
Yeah, you look at how this team takes care of the ball, and from the first guy to the last, it says something about how much pride they take in that. Minimizing turnovers goes a long way in terms of winning games. It's been a part of the basketball culture with the Hornets for quite some time.
He hits one and misses one, each at the line. And the Lakers, Greg, have acquired some intriguing young talent. Do you see this group blossoming into elite status?
I mean, there's still some question marks. Injuries have been an issue. I do see some all-star potential for some of their young fellas. Superstar potential, though, tougher to say. They've got something to build on, though, and that's key.
Walker with it, now guarded by Ennis. Screen by Howard, uncovered. That's short off the rim.
He's been wayward and just off on about everything he's put up in this period.
Ennis misses. Charlotte leading by 14. Outside, Batum. Here's Walker. Banked in off the glass. Walker's got 18 points.
Guys, he has been a major factor, big time, outstanding at getting quality looks and knocking them down.
And the Lakers call time here.
Well, you know, historically, the Lakers have been a glamour franchise and have been able to attract top-tier free agents. The temptation exists to skip any rebuilding and instead look to reload with new stars. We'll see if that pays dividends going forward.
Clarkson, he's checked in for Ball. Charlotte also making some changes. Zeller, he's checked in for Howard. Frank Kaminsky comes in for Marvin Williams. And it's Kid Gilchrist in for Jeremy Lamb. Kuzma can't get it to go. And Coach Walton has said when you build from within, you control your own destiny. What do you think, Clark? Should they build slowly but surely or look to land the big free agent?
Well, I think you do a combination of the two, but slow and steady usually wins the race. I know in this day and age we want everything microwave, but one of the questions for the Lakers is how many of these young guys have real star potential? Who are those guys you can build around? And if you don't see it, the temptation grows stronger to go out and try to find that ready-made star.
Shooting 2.
First one falls for him. Monk's checked in for Nicholas Batum. And so Zeller nails both of them. And Lakers head coach Luke Walton got his start as an NBA coach in Golden State as a top assistant. He said, looking back, he would have paid to coach under Steve Kerr with everything he's learned.
Wow, that's a high compliment from Walton. Kerr and Walton have very similar personalities, too. I mean, both are pretty even-keeled, low-key kind of guys. And when Kerr's back surgery sidelined him, Walton led the Warriors to the best start in NBA history. Pretty amazing.
And the Hornets miss again.
Not sure what the D was doing there. Clearly a breakdown. You can ill afford to give a guy like him that good a look.
Here's Ennis. It's rebounded by Charlotte. Zeller's got 3 rebounds now in this one. Outside, Walker. An easy layup after coming off the pick. Walker's got 20.
Well, we've seen that movie a few times, haven't we? An easy bucket in the paint.
Well, listless and lifeless at the defensive end. I mean, especially inside. They've really got to pick up that interior defense.
Now, here's Caldwell Pope. 5 points in the game. Some solid defense from Kid Gilchrist.
Boy, incredible effort on defense, refusing to give him an uncontested layup. Nothing easy.
Outside, Walker. He feeds it to Kid Gilchrist. Back to Walker. Out to the wing. Charlotte moving it around. The high post shot. Kid Gilchrist, no luck. Lakers trail by 18. Here's Clarkson. He has 7. Ennis in the corner. Right wing. Here's Kuzma. And not a good shot for him. They can get better looks than that. Outside, Walker. Monk kicks to Walker. And a foul called on the shot. Got him on the way up that time, so he'll shoot 2 right here. Clark, as an analyst, do you feel you view the game drastically different from when you were in your playing days in college and the NBA?
Yeah, you know what, Kevin? I really do, because I've benefited from the different coaches we've had a chance to visit with over the years, and that's added to my perspective. And you tend to look at things differently when you're playing. I was always a student of the game, but clearly I think I've become a lot more analytical as an analyst, if that makes any sense.
Yes.
2 shots.
And the first one at the line is good.
And looking at this Charlotte roster, really the strength of it is their perimeter play. A good collection of dynamic playmakers and shooters from that point guard to small forward position. They are the bulk of this team's offensive threats.
Seth Curry, he's checked in for the Lakers. Barea comes in for Tyler Ennis. And so Walker nails both of them. Greg, the Hornets were strong outside, but weak inside. I guess they've addressed that weakness, going for Dwight Howard.
Yeah, they went out and got what they felt could be an anchor on that front line. And listen, he's going to provide that rim presence that they lacked a season ago. The question is, can he also give them some punch offensively?
Hard not to commend the confidence of Barea. For a point guard, he's an excellent scorer, particularly inside.
And here's Walker. He's got 22, and there's the feed to Kaminsky. Picked by Zeller. Kaminsky kicks to Monk. And the three ball is good. Monk's got 10 points.
Nothing quite as good as seeing Monk shoot that three ball. I mean, fantastic at measuring those long-range shots up and knocking them down.
Now, here's Clarkson. He has 7. There's the pick. It's rebounded by Charlotte. Zeller's got his 4th rebound with that last one here tonight.
They've shown some strength in the paint today. Their work on the boards has been impressive.
Guys, that's putting it mildly. I mean, they've been absolutely dominant.
Now, gentlemen, 2 shots. 2 shots.
No good on the free throw.
Well, you look at the Lakers as an organization, and we know historically one of the great sports organizations in any sport. The reputation, though, has been slipping a bit in recent years. The front office moves last season, bringing what they hope will be some stability and certainly a bit more prestige to the team.
And maybe not as highly touted as some other guards that went before him, but Malik Monk can be scary on the floor. He can get hot like no other, and once he's dialed in, the points just seem to flow.
Here's Kuzma. 16 points for him.
And offensively, he has been a liability more than he's helped this quarter.
Here's Zeller. The kick out to Walker. Kaminsky sets the pick for Walker. Count it. And with that basket, he's now 9 of 15 from the floor. And Greg, as you said, Monk has that ability to take over with his shooting.
I mean, Monk looks to get going with his scoring at all times, and he's just got that shooter's mentality where all shots are good shots. That can be a positive and a negative, but I prefer he have that aggressive mentality when it comes to scoring the basketball.
Now here's Zeller. They lead by 24, their biggest margin. Here's Kid Gilchrist, and Charlotte again with the bucket.
And guys, this is the blueprint for winning on the road. How about the level of focus on each and every possession?
Yeah, it's actually palpable, isn't it, Greg? I mean, you can feel it. Every single one of these guys locked in, playing for each other. And that's why they're up.
And the rebounding has been key to their success here tonight.
It has been a lopsided battle on the boards, no doubt.
Now here's Walker. 24 points for him. Takes the 13-footer, and there's Michael Kidd Gilchrist on the assist by Walker. Walker's got 5 assists tonight. Nance a screen. Now Clarkson outside Curry. Shoots over Kidd Gilchrist. No good, trying to beat the buzzer. And so it's the Charlotte Hornets in complete command. Their lead at 28 points going into the break. From the field, they have been outstanding, amazing shooting. That's what has them headed to a blowout. And we'll be right back after this. And now let's take a listen on head coach Steve Clifford.
Good offense, right? We got back every time, and we're doing a good job down there. Everything's in front of us. Keep working together. Just stay with it. This is how we got to play. This is how we got to play. Let's go.
And happy with the efforts of his team on both ends. Steve Clifford just wants to see more of it.
And, you know, you can just see everyone trust each other out there. The energy is high, and that's when this group is at its best.
And we're rolling here again with the fourth quarter. Might not come down to the wire, but you never know. J.J. Barea is out there with Seth Curry. Then there's Josh McRoberts. Then it's Bogut, and it's Hart in at the 3, the small forward. That's who's in the game for the Lakers. Now here's Carter Williams. Andrew Bogut unable to get his shot to go. Carter Williams dishes to Kaminsky. Monk with the ball. And Curry picks him up defensively. Lets it go with the 3. The shot by Monk is no good. The Lakers shooting around 40% from the floor here. Pass to Hart. And Clark, we've heard the term empty stats for players that put up big numbers but didn't impact the game to the same level of those numbers. What do you think about empty stats?
I'm mixed on empty stats. Clearly some stats impact winning more than others, but in this day of analytics, some of the stats that apparently document impact in winning may be overdone as well. Statistics are statistics. They're part of the game, and you evaluate them in the context of a number of variables. So they're here to stay. Empty is probably too strong because they're part of the game.
And no matter who it is, that kind of D isn't going to get it done.
And for the Hornets, they're shooting the ball really well in this game, 58%. Carter Williams kicks to Monk. No good on the shot. Nice D from Bogut. Carter Williams against Barea. Here's the screen. Here's Hart. Screen by Bogut. It's a nice passing here by Los Angeles. Stolen. And we're about 2 minutes into the fourth quarter now. Here's Bacon. In the corner, it's Monk. Beyond the arc. Goes back up to the wing on the left. The shot by Kaminsky. Nobody around. It's good. Bacon's got 4 points in the quarter.
They're doing a really good job of getting the ball inside and attacking the paint. That's an area they have completely dominated.
Well, once they recognized the advantage they had inside, it made a lot of sense just to continue to attack that area.
And here is Los Angeles now. After the basket by Charlotte. Shot clock at 5. Here's Curry. Zeller grabs the board. Zeller's got 6 rebounds in the game. Monk, the pass to Carter Williams. Dishes to Zeller. He kicks it to Monk. Back to Zeller. Lets the 3 fly. Charlotte getting another chance here. Here's Bacon. Here's Kaminsky. And plenty of contact on the shot. So 2 free throws coming up. And the foul called on Los Angeles. And a moment now to look at the scoring approach in terms of where the points are coming from here for the Hornets.
You know, I thought maybe they'd cool off a bit at halftime, but they've continued to bury the jump shots.
Another thing they've done tonight is work the ball into the paint for plenty of those close-range points. You got to have those.
The free throw drops for Kaminsky. Clark, we have seen an influx of players who function as point forwards for their team. How difficult is that to deal with as a defender?
I think it's really hard. I think it just speaks to the versatility of a player. If a guy has forward size but point guard skills, then I think that makes him more valuable to his team and more difficult to defend because he can start offense, not just for himself, but for his team. And that puts your defense in a little bit of a quandary as to how you're going to deal with that kind of versatility in terms of scoring and playmaking.
Drills it from outside.
And that's what you give up when you don't fight over the screen.
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I mean, not a lot of effort put forth on defense there. I mean, I think he's definitely got to play up on him more and off the screen in that situation.
Bacon gets the bucket. Bacon's got 6 in the quarter. The Lakers have gone 2 of 4 from the field since we started the final quarter of play. Passes to Hart. Kicks to McRoberts. He dishes it to Barea. Here's Hart. They set the pick. Barea, the pass to Hart. Here's the floater. Good, and it's Barea who picks up the assist.
Resplendent release on the floater. When executed correctly, it's a beautiful, effective shot.
Now here's Carter Williams. Here's Bacon. And it's sent back by Bogut.
And with that condor-like wingspan, Bogut says, They're consistently finding ways to get the ball inside and taking full advantage.
Pretty clear. It's smash mouth basketball. Pound that thing inside.
One shot.
The free throw drops for Kaminsky. Clark, the current era is so connected to fans through social media. Just how much has that changed the NBA, do you think?
Well, I don't think it's just changed the NBA. It's changed our society and culture at large, and it's here to stay. I just like to see people productively and fruitfully use social media, and I would like to see less of the vitriol and hatred that is afforded for people to hide behind with their negative comments.
Now here's Barea. He's guarded closely. From 12 feet out, it's rebounded by Charlotte. Following this one, they get to host the Mavericks. They start a 3-game homestand with that game. Pass to Stone. And the pass to Bacon. No good. So Los Angeles will take it the other way. Here's Hart to the right side. It's a nice passing here by Los Angeles. They set the pick. That one good for 2. Charlotte shooting in the fourth quarter has looked shabby, 38%. Carter Williams, the pass to Bacon. Over Hart. Takes a big high bounce and goes in. Bacon's got 10 points in just the second half. Barea with it. And the NBA has tinkered with the All-Star voting in recent years. Fans no longer get 100% of the say for the starters. Clark, how do you feel about that change?
I like it. I mean, again, the fans desire to be involved and should have an opportunity to be engaged in the voting because they're so important to the success and popularity of the league. So I like the fans having a piece of the voting. 100% is far too much, so I think the fact that you've got it weighted between fans and those who follow the league closely, along with coaches, is about the right blend to me.
Charlotte shooting so far very efficient all around, about 55%. Pass to Bacon. Over Hart. Off the left rim and out. Lakers have gotten just under 45% of their attempts to drop in the fourth, 4 of 9. Feeds it to Barea. Shot from 12. Rebounded by Kaminsky.
You know what? He's just stone cold right now. Really not sure if he's their best option offensively as they try to get back in this game.
And the basket by Stone.
Defensive rebounding, just such a crucial part of the game.
Yeah, it's finishing your defense, Greg. We know that. You can defend, then you got to rebound the miss, and you got to get to the glass with intensity.
McRoberts dishes to Barea. Screened by Bogut. Now here's Barea. He's guarded closely. Pass to Hart. Takes the three. They get the rebound. McRoberts. And he takes that one up and powers it through.
And great effort on the boards, and what a mean
talk
that was, Kev. I mean, you just will not see him ever quit on a play.
That guy is a handful. You've got to have a body on him, Clark, at all times.
And you know what? Sometimes that's not even enough. He'll go around, over, or through you to get to the pumpkin.
Lakers have gone 5 of 12 from the field entering the fourth quarter. Now here's Ennis. Carter Williams covering. Out to the right wing. And here's Barea. Out to the right wing. McRoberts' shot is good.
And, you know, Barea is a capable floor general. Very good at setting the table for his teammates.
The dish to Stone. Well, the NBA has made some adjustments to prevent the hack-a-shack strategy, fouling big men who can't make free throws. It still happens. Clark, is it always going to be a part of the game, do you think?
I think it will be part of the game, and I don't necessarily like it. I would much rather see the rule be changed because I think it just enhances the quality of the product. Some would argue the strategy should be on board for poor free throw shooters. I disagree.
Catching up on the changes for Charlotte. Dwight Howard, he's checked in for Kaminsky. And Monks subbed in for Michael Carter-Williams.
That gives him his second 3 of the half with 3 total for the game.
Now here's Barea. D right on him. Screened by Bogut. Now Barea. They set the pick. With the floater, McRoberts. Williams with the defensive effort.
Now that's superb defense in low. I mean, they played it well. It's not easy trying to alter these shots without fouling the shooter, and that's a good job of doing both.
Stone kicks to Howard, and he takes it in for the layup off a very nice feed. Howard's got 20 points.
And when Howard gets it going, watch out. It's scary to see him dominate like this.
Bogut sets a screen for Barea. Down low. No good from Bogut.
Oh, great effort there. That's how you defend the paint.
Exactly. Can't play it any better than that, Greg.
Screen by Howard. Stone kicks to Howard. Rebounded by Hart. LA's gone 2 of 3 in the fourth quarter from long range. Good shooting so far. And the basket by Bogut.
And really aggressive inside. Bogut making a strong move. And as we head to the final buzzer here, a crushing blowout. Big-time dominance. And this will go in the record books as a gaudy win for the Hornets.
As one-sided as it gets today, you know, there were some dominant moments in about every facet of this game for that team.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin, it's hard to think of what didn't go right for them. Game planning by the coaches, execution by the players, everything was just on target.
And you can mark this one down in the W column. It'll mark their 23rd of the season.
And guys, because they play in different conferences, this is the last time these two will face off. It has to feel good getting a clean sweep here, finishing the season series 2-0 against Los Angeles.
And while there was some nice performances tonight, it definitely ended up being a solid outing for Dwight Howard.
He did all the dirty work that they needed, clearing out space underneath and securing rebounds.
Here's Hart. He feeds it to Bogut. Now here's Ennis. Back to Bogut. It's good. The assist that time from Ennis.
Excellent awareness there, zipping the ball over to the perfect spot to score it.
And here's Charlotte. And so the Hornets can now just hold on to the ball. Now, here's Monk, guarded by Barea. Monk with the ball. So no problem for Charlotte as they get the win. A resounding victory for them. And Greg in enemy territory, no less.
And that's exactly right. But with the way they controlled the game and just completely took the crowd out of it, that's how to get it done on the road.
It's time now to go courtside as we send you over to David Aldridge from the sideline. David, take it away.
Thank you, Kevin. Mike, it seemed like you were looking to push the pace at every opportunity. What was your mindset?
We're just trying to get out and run. You know, the less play calls, the better. So we're just trying to get out and run and find each other.
You did a great job in transition tonight. Thank you. Back to you, Kevin.
Thank you, David. Great interview once again. And that'll do it, folks. For Greg Anthony, Clark Kellogg, and David Aldridge, this is Kevin Harlan. Thanks for watching the NBA on 2K Sports. So long.